Okay, we still have a few more people streaming in, but I think we can already start off with a warm welcome to all of our attendees. I'm your host, Tiffany. We have Guus and Maud, who will talk us through the Agent Studio. We have Willem going through the platform capabilities. Yes, hi, Willem. We have Max for the AI governance and Dylan, who will go through the CSDM 5.0 model. So to kick it off, we will begin with Agent Studio. Take it away, Guus or Maud?
Yes, thank you very much. I think if we go to the overview, what we want to talk about today is some of the key features. You can move, yes, that we find in Agent Studio, but also we would like to share some early experiences about Agent Studio, because I think as one of the experts at ServiceNow put it really nicely, there's no art to building AI agents. There's no science to building AI agents. It's really an art, and we hope to give a little bit of insights into that as well by going into the positioning of GenAI in general in ServiceNow, then zooming in on Now Assist agents. And ultimately giving some examples of use cases. So,
Yeah,
Maud.
thank you, Guus. So there is indeed a lot of new features in ServiceNow available, focusing on GenAI, but still people are struggling with combining all the intelligence features and what is already available in ServiceNow. So of course it all starts with analytics, with performance analytics, reporting, which is now combined into platform analytics, and that's your starting point of your GenAI strategy. So it all starts with tracking, okay, what are my pain points in my process? For example, my MTTR is going up. With process mining, you can shine a light of your actual behavior of the process instead of the intended behavior. So maybe you see a lot of ping-ponging between assignment groups. And that's your starting point to see where are my bottlenecks and what do I want to improve with AI or GenAI. On the right side, you see a lot of AI features which are quite old already. So clustering, similarity, classification to predict a field on a ticket, but also regression. And there are multiple features involved into predictive intelligence. But where we want to focus on today is GenAI, and it's also a little bit combined with Workflow Data Fabric. Now Assist is the name of GenAI, what they are using in ServiceNow. You have the out-of-the-box skills, so that are the skills that ServiceNow built now based on the large language model that ServiceNow trained. Think of the summarization of a ticket, resolution node generation, knowledge article generation, and there are a lot of other out-of-the-box skills available. If a skill that your use case that you have in your own company in mind, which is not available out of the box, then you can build custom skills. We also built some custom skills ourselves already, also together with some customers. And what is now new and which is really exciting are the AI agents, and we will do a more deep dive into this session later in the slide deck, but agents can perform a lot of different type of tasks to that normally a human agent is doing. Of course, there is also in the AI search an individual agent is also way better with all the Now Assist features available. And with building the custom skills, you can make use of the large language model that ServiceNow trained. But with the GenAI controller, you can also integrate with an external large language model, for example, OpenAI. And of course, it's really important that your data is in ServiceNow, or if it's not in ServiceNow, then you can, with Workflow Data Fabric, you can copy the data, zero copy the data, and use it in ServiceNow to make sure that the AI agents have all the information to perform their tasks. Now, what are the benefits? The AI agents can handle more complex tasks. You can connect a lot of AI agents together to complete a certain use case. We will also come back to that later. There's a lot of improved higher agent productivity. They act more autonomously. And you can also add skills like decision making. They can learn from each other, the agents. They can interact with each other to perform the task.
Yes. Okay. So let's dive a little bit more into that agentic AI structure as it is in ServiceNow. So what we see typically, it consists of three main layers. So there's a top layer. This is the use case layer. This is where we basically program the real life scenarios. It's about describing the why, and it also holds the trigger to when something is going to happen. The use case is actually consisting of at least one, but usually more agents, which are basically the virtual workers that perform the tasks, and they are then in turn equipped with the tools. And the tools are the simple things, the execution of the tasks. And there is lots of different types of tools. We will go into that a little bit later as well. But by combining those different types of tools, you can put very powerful combinations to execute activities that would normally be manual. On top of all of this, there is the AI agent orchestrator, which basically decides which use case should trigger when, and also within the use case decides which agent should be called with a certain assignment when within the use case. So this summarizes basically the AI agent structure. And next we move on to the agent use cases, and Maud will tell you more about that.
Yeah. So there are a lot of out-of-the-box agents already available, and of course, you can also build new agents. On the left side, you see some examples. So one example is generate change request plans. So you can create a use case with multiple agents to generate an implementation, to test it, and backup plan for a change request. So that all will be created by the Now Assist agent, which is not needed anymore to do that with a human agent. Another example is to give enterprise application access. So we can build agents. They are also already available out of the box to assist the fulfiller with giving access to an enterprise application. Think of an agent which is collecting all the relevant information from the user to actually give information, but also an agent to notify the end user that the issue or that the access is being fixed. Another example is check stock and schedule maintenance tasks. So we are also building an agent to check if there is a stock available, and if there's stock available, already schedule a maintenance task. So there are a lot of different agents available tailored to specific type of workflows. The out-of-the-box agents are now available for IT, human resources, app development, customer service management, security and risk, and finance and supply chain. But of course, you can build the AI agents for every process flow available in ServiceNow. Who can build those AI agents? It's simple, but it's not that simple. So you need to have quite some knowledge about the technical background in ServiceNow, for example, about the flows, flow creation. Of course, you need to have a lot of knowledge about prompt engineering to give the right prompt to the AI agent. Of course, some AI and GenAI overall understanding, and you need to work a lot with AI search. So our proposal is to that an architect or a senior developer can build those AI agents. And the things to consider is always to keep in mind what is the job to be done right now by a human agent, and can we replace the task what a human agent is doing right now by an AI agent. Of course, you need to have the Now Assist license. You need to be on Xanadu patch 3 plus instance. You need to have AI search enabled, and the Now Assist panel needs to be turned on. Now, when to build agents, we will give some more details also later, but think of a multi-step use case. So if you have a use case where multiple steps are required, then you can build multiple agents, and every agent will perform a small step in that specific use case. And you can also build AI agents where the input quality is a bit different. So for example, you have tickets with a highly maturity level in information in the ticket, but you can also use the AI agents with a lower maturity level of information in the tickets. There is also a lot of testing available when you use the AI Agent Studio, and there are quite a few usage and value realization dashboards already out of the box available. And now we can go next to see how to build the use cases.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to probably repeat this a lot, but when we're going to build use cases, it's all about describing and instructing very clearly what you want the use case or the agent to do, and how to do it, and in which order to do it, and what to do not. Once you have this described and defined, you can add tools, you can add connect agents to the use case that are equipping the use case to actually execute all these instructions. After you've added the agents, you will define the triggers that decide when the use case is going to trigger. And some key lessons learned on this is that we find that Now Assist can actually help you setting up a first version of your use case. On top of that, prompt engineering is basically the main skill required for this, in addition to a very good knowledge of how your instance is constructed. And we also found that there's no better prompt engineers than GenAI. So once you have something using ChatGPT or Copilot or whichever a tool is okay to use, it can really help you improve your prompts. And finally, in these use cases, it's all about trial and error. So there's a lot of testing and evolving involved. And this basically concludes how to build use cases. Next, we will zoom in a little bit on the triggers. So as said, the triggers is defined on the use case, and there are several trigger types. So you can trigger on a record being created, you can trigger on a schedule, on an inbound email, and you could even trigger from a script, although at this moment this is an undocumented feature. There are some inputs that are always required for triggers, such as the name, table, conditions, and some other attributes. And the lessons learned that we have on the triggers is that it's good for transparency, and that if you perform any action where a record is updated, that you log in a note why you're doing it and what you're doing, because otherwise it may be invisible for or unclear for users afterwards why something happened. And again, describing very clearly what you want in consistent and concise language is very important. And on top of that, besides these triggers which were mentioned, all the use cases can actually also be triggered from the Now Assist panel, which we'll show in the very end. And next we go on to building the agents, because once you have the use case with the trigger defined, then you want to add your agents. So again, the agents are about describing and instructing what the agent should do. So you should give it a name and a description, and also clearly define the role of the agent and the instructions for the agent to execute. Then you will add tools to the agent, which are the possibilities that the agent has to actually execute. There's a lot of types of tools available. Most notably, there's the Now Assist skills, which Maud already mentioned before. This is anything where you require intelligent actions to be executed, such as summarization or performing an analysis, or maybe creating a piece of text to send somewhere. Then, of course, there's the simple record operations to create, read, or update or delete certain records. Then there's the search retrieval. This is for accessing the knowledge either inside or outside of ServiceNow. And then there's subflows for multi-step executions. The most important lesson learned here is that it's very important to also tell the agent what it's capable of, but also what it's not capable of, to make sure that it works well. And there is the logic. Try to put that as much as possible in the agents and in the use case, and try not to resort to just putting the logic in flows and not leveraging the intelligence of the setup. That's it about the building agents. And then we go to the final step. So how does it display these agents? There's two main user interfaces. There's the Now Assist panel and virtual agent, and both of them are chat interfaces. The first one is focused on fulfillers and agents, either from the workspace or from the UI 16. And virtual agent is the chat interface presented mostly to end users or customers. Of course, there is also a possibility to run these agents server-side, but then there is basically no interface. So the only things that you will see is either basically the updates on the records or maybe the emails that it sends out. Maybe one thing to mention on the virtual agent, the use of agents in virtual agent is still very new and sometimes therefore still a little bit quirky. So if on your journey you experience any quirkiness, it is to be expected. And of course, if you want, we are very happy to help you out on this journey, not just with virtual agent, but anything related to GenAI or ServiceNow for that matter. And I think this concludes the part on GenAI. And before we spin completely out of control with all these new possibilities, let's introduce some governance. And I believe Maxi and Willem will help us out there.
Exactly. So thanks. My name is Maximilian or Maxi. And together with my colleague Willem, I will tell you a little bit about what ServiceNow is doing about AI governance. Already a little bit spoiler ahead. There will be own modules around it or own model around it, and I will tell within that section a little bit more about it. So yeah, AI brings a lot of opportunities and can make our work more efficient, etc. But it's still really important to have, like with also your normal IT landscape, a certain governance in place, certain processes and framework in place to manage the AI. Why are you doing that? Especially because you want to bring transparency and especially trust within the organization towards that new AI features or AI applications you want to use. For sure, such a process is not easy. It's a big collaboration between a lot of teams and requires also to perform a lot of mapping tasks, like mapping the different processes, the different tasks those different teams have to perform within the framework, and also to, first of all, identify what you have. It's also a question towards your ethics and compliance teams, because already early, I think in the introduction of certain new systems, you should evaluate if those systems are according to company goals, but also according to certain AI regulations, which are coming more and more towards us with the AI Act of the European Union, but also the Biden administration was already releasing one, which is now revoked, but will be replaced by one of the Trump administration. And there are also some more local AI governance legislation on the market. So it's really important to create a certain process and governance about it, and ServiceNow can help on that topic, as we can see now on the next slide. You can see, I guess, the main argument why ServiceNow is really fit to also do your AI governance in that platform, because it's actually supporting already a lot of processes and teams which are required to take place in this governance process and framework. Because it should be all aligned to your objectives. You have to create additional records within the CMDB, CSDM to track your systems, etc. You should have a proper life cycle in place, and also evaluate everything around security, around risk and compliance, and manage your AI system according to that. It also has a big impact on your data privacy team, and the data team, which has to fulfill a lot of tasks. And all those processes are currently all on the platform and can be leveraged to set up a proper governance place, AI governance into place in your organization. But ServiceNow for sure doesn't now say you should use all the scattered models, but actually will release a new model called AI governance, or in later terms it will be called AI control tower, where you can exactly bring all that information together and coordinate the different steps in the process. So it will consist of 3 layers. First of all, your inventory, your AI inventory you can create, which will be part of your CSDM, CMDB models, where you can track your AI system, models, dataset, inputs, prompts, correlated with maybe other application they are linked to, or infrastructure, etc. So really being part of the CMDB CSDM model. There will be also a proper lifecycle management, so really governance about where are we in creating or introducing a new AI agent, for example, or a new AI system. Maybe we are in the purchasing process. We want to keep track where we are to also already at the right moments set the right steps to manage those AI systems, because I think worst case, we invest a lot of money and time to then figure out that I think we should not use that AI because it's maybe not according to our own values or organizational goals, or is not compliant with certain legislation. And then for sure, over the whole life cycle, as well as afterwards, having a proper security and risk and compliance checks, having bias assessments already quite early in the process, as well as impact assessments to evaluate in which parts of the organization it will have impact on, perform risk assessment, checking with external compliance, all in one place. And I think William will now tell a little bit more about the AI governance workspace, which is all about especially this AI inventory.
Yes, thanks you, Maxi. The AI governance workspace, why it's important. Bill McDermott, the CEO of ServiceNow, said it, AI will be in every corner of the business. So having a good overview of which corners are we using it, the right assets, the AI inventory that Maxi already told us about, contains the skills that Maud mentioned. The AI agents are leveraging those skills, which models are used, either the ServiceNow models or external models, the prompts that we use to trigger and interact with those models, and then also the data sets that we use. It's not a new concept. If you ask HR people, they know we need to have the right people do the right things in the right way. The same goes with these AI capabilities. It's all about the use case and where we use it. So the right skills with the right models, with the right data in the right way.
Yeah. But ServiceNow wants to go, as I always say, beyond the AI inventory, and will introduce the AI control tower. The AI control tower really brings you a single pane of glass with an overview on your AI landscape, but also immediately make it available to monitor and spot the criticality, certain risk and compliance situations of this AI landscape, and has also the whole lifecycle management in it. So that beside the lifecycle management, you also really have a guided playbook leading you through, like maybe periodically through certain steps you should perform through your AI systems, where I said the first step is to identify them and also create dependencies between those AI assets, but also to other places in your CMDB CSDM. Then for sure, as I also already said, you can perform certain assessments like bias assessment, impact assessment, and map the right set of risk and compliance, so risk controls, external legislations to your systems, and also measure this risk and compliance situation. A lot of those items or those records are actually already in place, right, in the integrated risk management model of ServiceNow, and is here leveraged again for the AI governance topics and brought together in a really nice playbook and visualizations with different dashboards, etc. For sure, you can also track issues on your AI and perform case management. I already mentioned it. ServiceNow decided to make it part of the IRM license. Therefore, it's available for you as long as you have the Pro or Enterprise license of IRM. And with that, I hand over again to my colleague Willem, which will talk a bit about the Now Assist Guardian.
Yeah, indeed. So Now Assist Guardian is a concept that also other AI players use, where you leverage AI to check and control AI. What does that mean? Similar as a developer checking the work of another developer, you have a large language model that checks the interactions with a large language model. Now Assist Guardian can check for offensiveness. So both the input, if you're not nice in your input, it will check that, as well as the output. So if a large language model outputs offensive language, then you can take action on that. And also to check for risks like prompt injection. A prompt injection is a security risk where you manipulate the AI into doing things it's not supposed to do. And you have control over that, as you see here in the screen as well, where you use it. So offensiveness here for the creator, and also how you want it to act. So you have the control to say, don't intervene, just log only, so that you have log files on whenever it classified something as offensive. Or you can say, no, we also want to block it. So it stops the actions, it will inform the user this interaction is blocked because either your input or the large language model's response is offensive or classified as offensive. So this is really something that administrators should really think about turning on. Prompt injection, our advice is turn it on by default, and offensiveness, talk about the offensive settings in your organization. Where do you want to turn it on, and if it's log only or block and log. Then combining all these tools and interventions into one picture. And we already mentioned quite a few times it's about the use case. The legislation in the EU is not governing AI as a technology, it's about the use cases, the usage of that AI. So the right people with the right training, being AI literate, so that they can challenge the output of an LLM, the right usage of those LLMs, don't use them in a risky way, use them in a proper way, the right guide rails like Now Assist Guardian, like AI governance, the workspace and the control tower with the right data. So think about what data would you allow a user to access, and also think about it in the same way for the large language model. Not every model needs access to all your data. Have a specific AI agent that maybe has access to some of the HR data if they're doing HR work. If it's an IT task, that AI agent should only allow that type of data. So segment it where it's usable and feasible. And that combined, people, process, technology, data means way more work towards compliancy and a safer way of applying AI. Then moving on from all the AI violence that we have seen and shown so far to platform capabilities. And in the overview, we have two capabilities. A data management console, because we've shown here as well in a few slides, you saw the importance of data. So managing your data correctly, that's very important. And the catalog builder, and I will explain later why catalog builder. But first, going into data management console. The data management console, you see a screenshot of it on the right, allows you to already visually see what's going on the platform data-wise, which are the biggest tables, how much are they using, and you can also see the trends there, and you can act on it. You see the manage section where you can create policies, you view the existing policies, and it already comes with a set of policies, and you can manage the archiving rules. The Yokohama release comes with a lot more data management options to safely update and delete records, but it all starts with the right insight in the current status, but also trends. Is the table growing or reducing in size? Basic functionality maybe, but I picked it because it's very powerful and data is the new gold, as they say, right? Then going to the next one. That's the catalog builder. Catalog builder is not new. It comes now with Now Assist, so AI capabilities. Why did I pick this functionality? I think this is a direction that the platform is taking, where you see the power of AI enhancing other not new IT concepts. And the catalog builder is, I think, a showtell of a capability that allows for citizen developers to create their own catalog items, right? It's already there in the platform before Yokohama. Enhancing that with AI makes it even more accessible. And we've seen a lot of organizations, a lot of our customers setting up a citizen development structure with reviews, who can build the catalog builders, what do we define as citizen developers, who do we define as the pro coders, and how can you bring something that the citizen developer built to production. By leveraging AI, you can increase the quality of what a business user can do with the catalog builder. You can elaborate, generate, or shorten certain inputs, and from a prompt, you can already start creating at least those simple catalogs. And the catalog builder also makes sure that it's conversational ready. So it's building with citizen development input that can later on also be leveraged by the Now Assist and your AI agents. So one technology enhancing the next. And that's really powerful. And here you can see this is a dashboard where you can also monitor the catalogs that you have built. Are they what we call conversational ready? So one thing we do with a lot of our implementations is check if your instance is ready for the Now Assist skills, those AI capabilities, and with your catalog items to check if they are conversational ready. So with that catalog builder, you can already increase the conversational readiness of those items.
Thank you, Willem. I will give a short overview of what is coming with the CSDM 5.0 model, the newest version that I have been working on for 1.5 years now. I actually want to use the safe harbor here, as you are all familiar with from ServiceNow. This is still a draft, but it is to be confirmed during Knowledge in Vegas in May. What the final model should be, but most likely the things that I will be showing to you today are going to be the changes that will be made in the 5.0 model. Yes, so we will focus around 3 areas. So the domain changes, so a new domain got introduced, a couple of name changes. I want to highlight shortly the new objects, and I want to deep dive a little bit in the service delivery domain, the previous managed technical services domain, because there are, I think, a couple of major changes. Looking at the domain changes, we see that a new domain has been added, being the ideation and strategy domain, the yellow domain on the right middle side, where the product ID and the planning item are the 2 key objects. Then if you look at the renaming of certain domains, then you see that the design domain has changed into design and planning. The reason for this is that in this domain, you're also doing the service portfolio, so strategic portfolio management activities, like portfolio management, planning of new applications, planning of new services potentially, where eventually those are then being built. In the red domain, where you see that ServiceNow also changed from build to build and integration. The reason for this is that they want to better track also how you are, for example, using AI components, how things are integrated, but also looking at the DevOps way of working, how are pipelines feeding into the ServiceNow platform. From a orange domain perspective, you see that there are changes in the name from managed technical services to service delivery. I do like the name change because in the end, the whole goal of the orange domain for me is how you are delivering your IT services towards the business, or potentially also towards customers as unimpeding services. And from a sell consume domain perspective, we see that changes have happened into service consumption, and also there and more clarity about what is it actually about. So it's really about how services are being consumed. Then the benefits, I think if you look at the new domain added, it's following more the end-to-end life cycle. So the introduction of new applications and products come from ideas, and I think adding the ideation domain is actually giving more clarity on this and also the other ones provide more clarity on what it's actually intended for. I think for the upgrade impact, wait for the release, then migrate towards it. For the audience, I think it's important for everybody that is using the platform, but mainly the platform owner, the CMDB team, and the enterprise architecture team might be interested. Looking at the new objects, I created the purple box. Let's start in the foundation domain. We see that they have added the value stream into the foundation domain. The value streams were already there, but are now getting a more prominent role, actually allowing you to do more end-to-end portfolio management from a value stream perspective. The product feature has been added next to the product models. So the product models were there, but now also looking at different features. When will we get new features? When can we release new features? Should we upgrade? The features is an important component. The SBOM, the software bill of materials, is becoming more and more important aspects of security regulations, and having to understand what my software is all composed of. So it's been added here as a key element. Then looking into the yellow domain, so the product IDs, those can come from internal people, but potentially could also be fed by your strategy. And from an idea, you need to start planning the changes, right? So it could be that you have a demand, you can have an epic, or maybe a project that is started from this product ID. DevOps change model, there was a lot of unclarity about how to integrate, how to put the right data from the different DevOps systems into the ServiceNow platform. So that's why they introduced this component. And you see as last, we have the sales catalog. So there's now a clear distinction that we have a service catalog, we have a product catalog, but we also have a sales catalog, which is more outside, externally focused, potentially from a CSM perspective. Then the service delivery domain. What you see here is that the first change that they made is that they added technology management and technology management service and technology management offering in the description of the object. And I'm personally pretty happy with this change because I had a lot of difficulty explaining what a technical service actually was, what a technical service offering actually was. And with looking at how the object is intended, then the reason for having those services in is basically to describe how you are managing your infrastructure or how you are managing your applications from a services perspective. So it could be that you are managing, for example, 6,000 servers, and the management offering is that you are managing also the Windows servers as a separate offering. So I'm happy with this name change. That has happened. The next one is the service instance. This is actually replacing the old application service object. The reason for the change is that the application service name did not really fulfill the need anymore of capturing the concept of an application stack or the potential of having a different type of application stack or service instance stack. And so, for example, looking at the new service type that will be introduced. So for example, you have a facility service instance, or you have a operational process service instance, where you have objects that are, for example, not per se all application related. So the name has changed. The application service instance type will still be there, but also other types will be introduced. And then from a service delivery system perspective, you see that there is a cloud around it. They did it on purpose, and basically it's still a system that actually delivers this service instance. The reason why they have changed it is because also, again, here it describes the different components that make up the delivery system. So it's not only IT anymore. It should also cater for elements like OT, IoT devices, or potentially AI, LLM elements, or for example, some customers host things in external data centers for customers, and this in total is the service delivery system, and making up how you are actually delivering the service system in towards the service instance. And that's about it about CSDM.
Thank you very much, Dylan. And to all our speakers, of course. So we gave some overall highlights that our experts found interesting and to highlight for the Yokohama release. But of course, it's a short amount of time, not a lot to go in depth. If you have any further questions, would like to know more, you're welcome to use the Q&A function to post your question. I see a few participants have already done so, and our experts have responded. Please let us know if you would like to know more. On that, it seems most of the questions were about AI. So if there's interest to go further in this topic, we have an upcoming GenAI webinar on the 23rd of April, which is a Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central European Time. You can sign up on the QR code on the screen. Other than that, if there are no further questions, I would very much like. Yes.
Maybe I think there's one question, and I was typing already, but it became a very long story, and I think we could probably answer a little bit deeper. I think we have a few more minutes. So there was the question of an organization where they have their own GenAI that they integrated, and they were looking actually to make also use of the out-of-the-box features. Now, I think Maud already pointed out that the real out-of-the-box features, they all leverage the Now Assist, the ServiceNow LLM. But I think by now it is also possible to actually create copies of the out-of-the-box functionalities. And of course, and depending on the situation, it might result in some complexities. But if, as an organization, for a certain reason, you really prefer of using your own LLM instead of the ServiceNow one, of course, it's always good to think about what is the LLM best equipped for. And I think for many things that ServiceNow out-of-the-box features provides, I would argue that the ServiceNow LLM is probably a very appropriate one. But if there's other use cases where you would want to leverage your own LLM, it may be possible, depending on the use case, to create a copy of the out-of-the-box skill or agent and see if we can make it adjust it to run on another external LLM, provided that you're using the ServiceNow GenAI controller to connect to it, and you have the appropriate licenses, of course. So if you want to know more about it, indeed, you can always reach out and we could explore this case further. But yeah, there's a lot possible these days.
Thank you, Guus. And again, you can find out more in the upcoming GenAI webinar as well.
If you're upgrading, I think that's also the perfect opportunity to increase the quality of your instance. So what I always like to do is use the time that you're upgrading to check, are we doing the right things in the right way? We have a lot of automated checks. Quality for You is one of the apps that we have in the App Store that helps you put a number and data on those insights. Automated test framework that ServiceNow provides is maturing with every release. So check in an upgrade, what are we testing manually, what kind of regression test, and can we automate it? And also look at what are we upgrading or missing out on upgrading because we customized it. Can we bring it back to box? That doesn't mean you have to bring it back to box during the upgrade, but it's a nice way of checking, having a set moment in the agenda to check if we can improve.
Thank you, Willem. We also have a new question in the chat, a question received at the beginning. We already have the Pro Plus licenses and we have a good use case for an AI agent we'd like to build. Where do we start? And what do we need to do to get a custom agent in production? And how long would it take us?
So yeah, I think if you have the licenses and you have a use case in mind, I think you took the most the most troublesome hurdles. From here on, it's only a technology, and that's usually the easy bit. So I think it's really a matter of a few weeks. I think you could have at least a working version, maybe in test, and then if you like it, you can move it to production. And let's see where to start. So I think it starts with defining what are the steps in the use case, what are the actions that need to be done. Are these actions that can all be done within ServiceNow, or would you need maybe to access also other systems for information or updates? Then I think it's just writing it out in a couple of steps that need to be done, and then I think the best thing is to start building it. Of course, we are also happy to support you in the process. But I think, as you mentioned, having the license and or if the use case is well defined, then it can really be done in I think a few weeks.
So I think what we often do, and what is interesting is to see, is your instance ready, is your data ready, and can we start building, right? So do a proper readiness assessment where you can sort of figure out should we start and what do we need to do to actually get to a point where we can actually bring something to production. So that could be simple license check, could be simple version check of the instance, but go also a little bit beyond that. So is the data that we want to use, is it stored in the right tables? Do we have certain customizations that might limit us? So that would also help.
Great addition. Yeah.
Thank you to our experts. It seems like we have the questions covered. And with that, I would like to thank everyone for your time, your attendance. We hope that this was valuable insights to you. Yes, thank you to the audience as well. And here you can find our contact information for any further questions, for any help on your new journey with Yokohama with ServiceNow. So thank you, everybody. Have a good day and see you next time.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Pleasure.